After hearing gunshots in nearby woods, Pedro asks his brother Jamie for the investigation. Pedro says the man shoots 3 times, which means he has the remaining bullets. Jamie asks him to take the dogs, but Pedro refuses as he doesn't want the shooter to know they are coming. Pedro loads his gun and the brothers head outside, but soon they stop and Pedro says they'll leave at dawn. The next day, the brothers set out to find the intruder. Reaching the spot, they see a severed hand and the torso of the man's body. Jamie says maybe it's by a lion, but Pedro realizes it's a man's job who cuts his body in 2 parts. They find some machinery there that they don't know about and Jamie says that it's Ruiz's territory, he might have killed the man. Pedro doesn't believe this, and after looking at the man's diary, they find out he was going to Maria Elena's house. The brothers reach Maria's house and ask her about the man who's dead. Maria doesn't know that the man is dead and says, "We are waiting for him as he has to kill my son." They both are shocked to hear this and go inside to see Uriel, whose body has been rotten. Maria tells them that a demon has possessed my son to give birth to its child. Pedro asks them about the report and her boy says it's been a year since the report. He says we didn't inform Ruiz as he will throw them out of the village and they don't have any other place to stay. After that, both brothers go to the local police station and ask the police officer about the report. The superintendent asks about the boy and Pedro says that his body is decomposed and possessed by a demon. The superintendent says that the earlier incidents like this were false, and Pedro gets angry and threatens to call the mayor. The officer says we sent a cleaner to her house and Pedro tells him your cleaner is dead. The officer warns him, and hearing this, Pedro starts fighting with him. The superintendent says we'll call the health department to solve the issue. The other says why would there be a possessed one here and asks them to leave. They reach Ruiz and tell him that the police will not see the dead one and the rotten one. Ruiz asks about the mayor and Pedro says a year has passed since the mayor was told, but no one has come to help Maria. Ruiz asks them to leave saying you've to shut your mouth, but Pedro says our place will become a ghost town if we don't take any steps. Ruiz says that the charge on demons ends badly because they take over animals first and then humans. Pedro says we have to do something before the news goes viral, but Ruiz thinks the state is doing this to take their land. During the dinner, Ruiz angrily leaves while his wife asks him to stop. Ruiz reaches Maria's house to kill Uriel. Maria asks him to stop because she knows the demon will attack others after leaving his body. Ruiz doesn't want to listen to her, saying you people make this place sick. The demon laughs, telling him to kill so I can move to another body. He sits back in his truck and starts crying. The next morning, his wife, Pedro, and Jamie arrive. The brothers run inside while his wife asks did he killed anybody, and Ruiz says the demon is playing with us. Ruiz tells the brothers that we have to take him far away because keeping him here is a risk. The 3 try to take him outside, but his body is rotten and Jamie asks them to lift him using the sheet. He is overweight due to the swelling and falls when the sheet bursts, but after trying, they load him into the truck. After traveling for miles, Ruiz still wants to go more far to throw his body. Suddenly, a kid comes in front of the truck, but they save him and Ruiz scolds him. They stop near the fields to throw the body, but Uriel isn't in the truck. Jamie says maybe he fell when the kid came across the truck. Pedro asks them to find the body, but Ruiz refuses, saying it's not our problem anymore, and they leave. Returning home, Jamie looks at the bullet he took from Uriel and Pedro takes a bath. After eating, Ruiz's wife goes outside and screams. Ruiz goes outside and sees the demon has possessed the goat. Ruiz fires a shot that makes all the goats run away except for one, who looks at Ruiz with bloodshot eyes. As Ruiz shoots the goat, his wife kills him with an axe and then she cuts her mouth with an axe and dies. Both brothers are sitting quietly and Jamie notices the sculpture's shadow is moving. Maria's son appears at their door and tells them about Ruiz and his wife's death. Jamie asks him to leave, but he wants to stay for the night and tells them that his mother also disappeared. Seeing his situation, Pedro allows him to stay for the night. They take his pistol, but Jamie still thinks the kid is lying and Pedro says to let him stay for one night. Pedro asks him not to take anything from the house and leave for the city to take Pedro's kids. Jamie leaves him at his wife's house and moves to pick up their mother. Pedro goes inside and asks his wife's new husband to give him some clothes as they all have to leave this place. Sabrina, his wife, comes and asks him to leave as he isn't allowed to meet her and the kids. Pedro warns them about the demon, but they are not listening to him. The dog sniffs his clothes and Pedro burns the clothes. While they all arguing, the dog attacks their little daughter Vicky and drags her outside. Leo and Pedro run out to find Vicky but find no one. Suddenly Vicky appears and Pedro tells Sabrina that she is not their daughter. While she is loving her daughter, Leo smashes her with the car. Pedro watches the scene in horror and leaves with his 2 boys. He arrives at his mother's house, who asks him about Sabrina, but Pedro brushes it off. En route, Pedro's crippled son's condition worsens and Santino asks his grandmother about demons. The grandmother says that the demon possessed animals first and then the humans. They stop at the nearby shop to buy some food where they get a call from Sabrina. Pedro talks to her and she tells him that I will come to get my children, which he panics. He breaks the phone, and when Jamie asks him about Sabrina, Pedro tells him that she is dead. He says Leo smashes her with the truck and now he doesn't know what to do. Jamie is shocked to hear and calms him, saying that he knows someone who can help them. Jamie takes his family to Mirta, his old friend, who allows them to stay in her home. Pedro refuses to stop and tells Jamie to ask her for money so they can leave town. Jamie says her money is in the bank, so they have to wait till Monday. After this, Jamie talks to Mirta about the demon, as she has already faced the demon in town. Mirta says that these demons attack animals first and prey on human souls to produce their children. Jamie says we threw out a demon and then it followed us and killed my Pedro's wife and daughter too. Mirta says when we get scared, demon attacks us and that's why he attacked you. Pedro's autistic son cannot sleep because of the pain and the brothers decide to look after him with turns. Pedro asks about his relationship with Mirta and he says they loved each other for a while but now they are only friends. Pedro sits in the car seeing Yair. He tells him not to be worried as his father is here. While everybody is sleeping, Sabrina's possessed corpses arrive at the house. After seeing Yair, she goes into the grandmother's room to take Santino while the grandmother falls in fear. The grandmother tells them that she holds Santino, and when Pedro goes to see her, she jumps out of the window. Mirta warns Jamie about Yair as exhibiting signs of possession, which Jamie dismisses. Mirta advises that Jamie chase after her while she and Pedro search for Uriel to end the demonic plague. While seeking out Sabrina, Jamie discovers she has killed the child and runs her over in a fit of emotion. In doing this, he collides with a tree. Grandma stays at Mirta's house and waits with her oldest grandson, who returns to the house, now speaking clearly and without impediment. Pedro and Mirta's search leads them to a schoolhouse filled with possessed children who boldly lie to the pair in order to exacerbate the demonic birth. The pair find Uriel under the stage in the small auditorium and Pedro tries to properly unearth him as Mirta sets up the demon-killing equipment. Losing his patience and believing one of the children's lies about a fire axe nearby that might help, Pedro runs to the office while Mirta screams to not leave her. While he is away, the children trap Pedro, kill Mirta and dismantle the equipment. Enraged, Pedro beats Uriel to death with a piece of the broken equipment but is too late to intercept the birth. The demon inside Uriel is born soon after, shedding his corpse and presenting itself to a defeated Pedro. After taunting Pedro by sparing him, the newly born demon walks out into the morning sun followed by the children. The two brothers return to Mirta separately and after collecting the remaining son, head back to their own home. Jamie finds the bullets are short while giving an ice cream to Yair and takes a bath. Pedro notices the blood marks are still on his forehead. Jamie goes to the shed where he finds Uriel's brother is still there. He tells him he killed the original cleaner 4 days ago, devouring him. He also reveals he did the same to his mother the night before and alludes that his and Pedro's mother have suffered the same fate. Pedro sees Yair choking, and while Pedro helps him, he discovers he's choking on his mother's hair and that his son is possessed as well, having tricked him under the veil of his autism. Pedro runs outside and collapses in grief, having lost everyone but his brother. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing videos.